Cancers, it is time to rise and thrive this July. Stay tuned and we'll have an aligned astro chat about it. Hello all, I'm Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your transformational tarot reading through my Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life series. And this is for July, Cancers. OMG. What an incredible month this is going to be for you. We are going to pull cards. We're going to do an overarching theme for you from the Sweet Ass Affirmations deck from Rage Create. And then this, interestingly enough, was the card deck that called out to me for you, the Tarot Décoratif from Ciro Marchetti. So without further ado, let's dive on in and see what these cards have to offer you today. All right, let's look at our affirmations first and get a theme. And I'm feeling like this month for you guys, there's going to be a lot of choice and option, but it feels like it's going to be pretty empowering, the choices and the options that are coming up and coming through. It feels like you have to kind of be in the right frame of mind to receive it. So I would really be doing some checkup from the neck up kind of things, tapping into where you're at emotionally and really clearing your energetic space so that you can be clear on what you're receiving. So let's see what we got here. I am rooted to the tree of universal superpowers. Oh, I love this. So here's your DNA, right? This is the DNA stripe. And I'm going to say to you, I feel like when we're looking at this is a month where you are going to be evaluating some ancestral lineage. You are going to be evaluating, there may even be some like blood related situations, health situations. I'm not saying anything bad, just more of, like evaluating things that are going on in the blood. But also this DNA really screams out to me the starseed and the light worker energy of activation. And for those of you who are, I want to say, really connected to service in that spiritual path, whether it's service to yourself, service to your loved ones, or you're, like me, and you're doing this to, service to the collective at large. I really feel like a DNA activation is something that's going to be coming up and coming through for you. Some of you may be saying, I don't even know what that is. I would say just type in DNA activation meditation in YouTube and find something that is going to click with you. I actually have a few of them myself on my YouTube channel. Also, I recommend Steve Nobel, Nobel. He's a great one. He does a ton of meditations all the time. And I feel like that DNA activation is basically an unlocking of the knowledge that is already within you. And you've been feeling that for a couple of months. You've been feeling this, like, I know there's something deeper here. I know there's something more that I'm supposed to access. And it's just out of reach. I can just barely feel it, barely touch it. This is the month where that's going to come up and come through. When we're talking about you're rooted to the tree of universal superpowers, I feel like that's exactly what we're talking about. There's an activation that's going to occur here that opens your sensitivities even more so, where you are going to be extra sensitive psychically, in those ways, receiving messages and information with such clarity, with such precision, with such confidence. I want to say, if you aren't already in sort of the spiritual arts capacity, you're definitely going to be considering that as you're stepping into this space and this place. So I feel like at the end of the day, that's what this is really all about. Is it's bringing you back to the basics. It's bringing you back into the what am I actually really here to do? Like, yes, I'm having a human experience, but I am a spiritual being having that human experience. And so let me really bring to the forefront more of the spiritual superpower energy that's coming through. So this is our the present. Where are you right now in your transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? And here we have the beautiful Queen of Pentacles. I'm loving this for you guys. You're really in a space and a place of recognizing that everything that you have is supporting what you have created. I feel like you did a deep dive last month where you did a lot of evaluation. Is this, cleaning out the closet, the proverbial closet, the spring closet? Is this still serving me? Is this still serving my purpose? Do I still need this? Do I still use it? Is this something I can give away? Is it time to throw it out? Is it time to sell it? Repurpose it in some capacity. I feel that you've done a lot of that work over the last couple of months. And now the Queen of Pentacles is coming up and coming through to say, okay, everything that is in your path right now is supposed to be in your path. It serves its purpose. It has a purpose. And so with this Queen of Pentacles that's coming through, I feel like for you, it's recognizing, okay, let me take a breath, because I am about to move into something pretty big. I'm having this DNA activation. I'm feeling these new levels and depths of psychic awareness and sensitivity coming up and coming through. Sometimes that can make me a little nervous. So Queen of Pentacles is coming through to say, I don't need to be nervous because I've got all of my ducks in a row. I've cleaned out the closet. I have space and room for this in my life. And I don't need to catastrophize. I don't need to go into a space and a place of, oh my God, big change, big upheaval, so much required of me, spirit, I don't know what spirit's going to want me to do. Queen of Pentacles says, hey, we got you. Everything is here for you. No worries in this regard. I'm really drawn to the blue in her robe here. And I feel like the blue is not only that throat chakra, finding your truth, speaking your truth, learning to communicate it in a creative way, but I'm going to read it a little bit like the high heart chakra, which is in between the heart and the throat. So it's an indication of speaking your truth, your heart truth, through your throat chakra. It's that high heart energy. It's, I'm going to say, the place where your high self resides. When your high self is, sort of speaking to you or speaking through you, that is where it is speaking. And the fact that she's wearing it like a dress says to me that you are going to be very focused this month on all heart-related matters, heart-related issues. Am I coming from my heart space? Let me lead with my heart. Not to say you don't do this on a regular basis. I mean, you're a water sign, so of course there's going to be a lot of that naturally in your space, but this is at a different level. This is you being more intentional about what that high heart energy is doing. You are going to have a deeper relationship with your high self this month. And right now, you're fostering that. You've got the resource. You're there. You're ready for it. And I feel like that's what you are shifting into. That's what you're rising into. What's the catalyst for you at this time? What's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance for you right now? Or is it rocket fuel? Interesting. Another queen. Queen of Cups. So, I feel like there's a big aspect of you here that is coming through energetically as the water sign that you are, that is saying, this is really what we need to come back to. It's not about getting lost in our emotions. It's about remembering that we are the master of our emotions, that our emotions don't drive us. Our emotions are a roadmap for perhaps where we need to go or what we might like to look at, what we might like to incorporate into our journey. And I feel like you've been kind of away from that for a little bit. You've not necessarily been in the, oh my God, I'm loving the journey of life phase. And PS and FYI, no judgment. It's been a rough ride. I feel you on that. But I want to say this month in July, and I mean, it's your birthday month too. So that helps. But this is your month in July here where I feel like it's kind of taking back your life. It's saying, okay, yeah, it hasn't been so great, but now I'm going to kind of just change my attitude around it. Because the bottom line is life itself isn't changing. So if I want to feel differently about something, I have that power. I need to make that shift and make that change to feel differently about it. It's not going to change itself. And I'm supported. I have the resources to be able to do that. So I feel like the catalyst for you in regards to this, and sort of the rocket fuel is a coming back into yourself, a coming back into your feelings and emotions, not from that uh, a scattered perspective, but more so from the perspective of, I understand that my emotions are not me, so I can observe my emotions and then I can decide how to respond to those emotions, how to make those emotions work for me. What is it they're trying to tell me, rather than being reactive to the emotion and losing yourself in the process. You're coming back to self. And I feel like that's necessary at this point. Not to say that you've been, scattered and all willy-nilly, for the last couple months, but I would say to you, you've had moments of that. You've definitely had moments of that. And I feel like for you, you're just kind of saying, I want to feel a little more safe and secure. I want to be in flow, not in ebb. Deep root. What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? And here we have our valet de bâton. The valet de bâton is the page of wands in this tarot. So this is really interesting. I feel like for some of you, I'm getting a specific message about a soul contract that you're having with a person who is younger than you, someone who is emotionally a little less mature than you, somebody who tends to be a little more hot-headed, also someone who thinks that they know better than everybody else. This is someone that you do have to interact with to some degree. This is someone that you cannot just dismiss. It's someone that you have to actually face. You actually have to deal with this person or deal with this situation. And what I'm feeling around this particular message, that again is not all of you Cancers are going to resonate with this, but a lot of you, I feel a lot of you are. What you want to realize around this is an individual who you have this soul contract with. Not so much so that you're a teacher to their student, but I feel like it's really about boundary. It's about saying, listen, you little peon, it's not about my ego. It's about recognizing, have a little respect. I've been around the block a couple more times than you have, a few more times than you have. And yeah, I think your ideas are fantastic and great and wonderful, but you also don't know everything. And so just take a chill pill and we can learn from each other. So I feel that there's like a real clear come to Jesus moment with this particular individual in your life. And it could be a male energy or a female energy. I just feel young. I feel youthful energy, and someone who's a little hot-headed, not emotionally all that bright at this time, but thinks they are. And you're going to need to kind of address some boundaries and put them in their place. Off that and moving back on to what this is, I feel here, like when we are talking about you coming back into your own, whenever the fire energy comes in, I feel like it's an invitation for you to recognize where you're going to need to self-motivate, especially with the page of wands, student energy. Yeah, they're excited, they're enthusiastic, but they need some guidelines. They need some guardrails around it. Otherwise, they're bouncing off the walls. And I feel like this is kind of it's not really a deep belief, or it's not really a wound for you guys. What I'm feeling here is it's kind of at the essence of where you're at, that as soon as you see sort of that fire energy, you're like, okay, listen, slow your roll. Don't rain on my parade. Don't push me. But yet I feel like this is the energy that you need to utilize in order to be able to make that next step and that next move. You are coming into your own, and the into your own means that you've expanded a little bit. You've changed. You've adapted. You've grown. You've evolved, even if it's just a little bit. And this fire energy, I feel, is coming through to help you, not to hinder you. But you've got to be able to tell it what to do. You've got to be able to direct it or to utilize it in the way that you need it to. Otherwise, it's just going to kind of run rampshot over whatever it is that you got going on. So you need to recognize it for what it is so that you can work with it, so that you can put it in its place. It's kind of how I want to put that. Interesting. All right. We're talking about the past now, your past phase. What's dying away? What role, pattern, or identity has run its course? Interesting. I feel like I want to say to you, you're done with endings. Like, stick a fork in me. I'm done with being done. Like, I'm done with the endings. I'm done with the ruin. I'm done with all the things and the stuff. And so I feel like when I'm looking at this, there's a part of you that, quite frankly, you're exhausted. You're ready for the new beginning. You're ready for the flow. You being a water sign, you do well with the ebb and flow. You definitely do well being in that, I want to say, in that sweeping energy. But even you guys get sick and tired of the storm all the time. There is a time when you're like, I just want some calm, cool, clear water. That's what I want. That's what I want today. I don't want the storm. I don't want the wind. I don't want any of it. And you've been in it for quite some time. And so there's a bit of exhaustion here. There's a little bit of, I want to say, again, you're so over it. You're over endings. You're over having to say goodbye. You're over having to say, okay, I'm wrapping this shit up and I'm in wait mode for what's next to come. And I'm going to say to you here, celebrate this. And when we see the depiction in this card, often with the 10 of Swords, we're seeing, a kind of a dead body with all the swords in the person's back. And it can be, various shades of gore and violence. In this situation, it almost looks like victory. Like, none of the swords are actually piercing him. He's just expressing like, oh, thank God I'm breaking out of this. All of these swords are around me, but I'm just so ready to be on the other side of it. So I feel in many ways that this is very empowering, that we are saying goodbye to the endings for you and we're opening up into the new beginnings, because I feel like that's what you're craving. You're craving a little bit of flow. You can work with ebb and flow. You're just done with the crazy storms. And I feel like that's what this is indicating, is you're coming to the end of a crazy storm. And now you're, let's see what you're stepping into. But I feel like that ending, it's a victory. Lean into what is dying away as a victory, because you've been there and done that and bought the t-shirt. There's nothing more that you can learn from it. 6 of Swords. So this is your highest potential. This is that phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes of this? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Oh my God, I love this. Okay, so first of all, I have to point out with the 6 of Swords, there's a swan on this card. And whenever a swan comes up, it always symbolizes to me starseed energy. So for those of you who identify also as starseeds and not just Cancerians, and you identify as a starseed, I feel that your starseed energy and your starseed community is moving you onto commerce shores. This is a card of support and grace. And I feel like this is exactly what is rising out of the storm of what you have been in. As you are connecting into yourself, you are aligning to a new frequency, that frequency that is going to be the calmer shore. And that is how you, in essence, make it become. Because you are now reminding yourself, oh yeah, I have been in a calmer shore before. It's just been a minute. And now that I've got a flavor for what that is, I can recreate it. I can mass produce it in many ways. So that starseed energy, I feel, is really coming through to say, yes, you're moving on to calmer shores, but you also, as a starseed, are being reminded of previous experiences where you have been in a higher frequency state. And it's like, oh yeah, I've been there before, so I can get there again. And I just have to think it, and I'm there. It's like riding a bike, right? For those of you who don't identify as starseeds, you're seekers and light workers and healers and all that kind of stuff, what this is saying to me is you are moving into a space and a place of becoming this for others, but in a more balanced and a more boundaried way. That this is part of your goal. You want to be a healer. You want to be able to support. You want to be able to say things and speak into people's lives, speak into people's hearts, and really make a difference and really matter, to ease a situation rather than to make a situation worse. You like to leave people better off than you found them. And I feel like this 6 of Swords is coming through in that very capacity at this time. to say, this is what you're moving into. And it is in many ways because you went through all of this other nonsense and shenaniganery that suddenly now isn't so nonsensical. It kind of makes sense. And you're like, I wish I hadn't, or I, rather not and say I did. But now that I've been through it and I'm on the other side of it, I might as well make use of it. And that's what this is about. You're making use of it by helping other people, but you're doing it in a boundaried way. You're not being whipped around hither and thither, to and fro. You are the guiding force, the guiding light. You are bringing the smooth, calm waters. So that's really interesting. You have to be the calm water in order to have the calm water, because you are the calm water. It all comes, chicken and egg, it's all about you. It all comes back to you. And I feel like that's what you're opening up into in this Six of Swords energy. Next step, what's emerging? What is just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? Interesting. We've got the King of Cups. So Queen of Cups, King of Cups here. So when we are talking about that emergence, I feel like what you are emerging into is a more confident version of yourself, a self where you feel a little more in control of your own feelings and emotions. You're not feeling so swayed by others. I feel like the last couple months, you've been in a real, I don't mean mood in you're a Cancer, so you're moody way. I mean, you've been in a mood where people have been pissing you off. People have been rubbing you the wrong way. And yes, sometimes people are just being idiots around you. But I feel like when we get right to the heart of it, it's because you have not been feeling comfortable in your own skin. You've been living, I want to say, a little outside of your comfort zone. You've been living out of the water. You've been, you've had a beach holiday kind of thing. You've been on the earth for a little while. It's time now to come back into the water. And so I feel like what's emerging for you is not only a coming into your own, but I feel that there's an invitation for you to expand that to include and affect others around you. So not taking things for granted, not assuming that the person, is going to know and understand what your needs are. It's you conveying that and doing it in a loving way. But I want to say not taking no for an answer. I feel also like, gosh, how do I explain this? When we're talking about this as an emergence, I feel like this is also a person in your life or a significant project in your life that is going to take up a lot of your energy, time, brain power in a good way. In a positive way. Sometimes we like to be challenged in positive ways, right? We learn and we grow when we're on a fun project and we see it through to the end and, all that kind of stuff. This can also be, I want to say, relationship. This can be somebody new that you are leaning into, and it requires some extra effort and investment to get to know the person, to learn how they tick, and to not mold yourself to fit that person, but to understand how you, as that water sign, because the water always is the bowl, right? It's that you can't be contained, and yet you surround everything, right? And you're the strongest element of all of the elements. You're the strongest one. You're the one that moves mountains. It takes you a while to do it, but you do it without having to think about it. You do it just by being you. And that's what I feel this is really coming up and coming into, is there's something that's going to be entering your life where it's going to be there for a while. It's going to be worthwhile. And I want to say, you want to have the space to be able to say yes to it. You want to have the mental space. You want to prepare yourself. It's like, for me, being such an introvert, and I know people are always surprised when they see that, because you meet me outside and I'm like, hey, whatever. I'm super friendly and, like to have a lot of fun. And I'm a super introvert. And I want to go to the concert and I'm super pumped about the concert. And I got to have a couple of days to mentally and emotionally and energetically prepare for that concert. Because otherwise, if I go in unprepared, I'm thrown all over the place energetically. I'm tapped into all the wrong things and the wrong people. And what I really need to be doing is focusing on me, being present, having fun, enjoying the experience, and recognizing where I end another person begins. I feel like that's what this is about for you. This is what's emerging. Exciting things coming your way that maybe in the most recent past you didn't have the energy to say yes to. But this is coming up and coming through to say, prepare yourself for it because it's on its way. And if you're prepared for it, you're going to have a great time. It's a non-issue. But if you're not prepared for it, this is going to be difficult. It might even be something that you turn down and have regret about turning down later, simply because you didn't prepare yourself for it. All right, what part are you playing in this shift? How are you navigating this particular transformation in July? And are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Interesting, the Wheel of Fortune, La Roue de Fortune. So I really feel like, even though I've given you all this information about how you're moving forward and there's a lot of this, good stuff, I feel like this Wheel of Fortune is something that you are resisting at this time. And I feel like the resistance of it is not because you hate change, because you don't, but it's more like you're looking at change and you're saying, oh my God, do I have the energy to put this, into practice? Do I really want to invest more of my time and my energy into something? Do I have the energy and the time to invest in this? And I want to say, when I'm looking at this in terms of your role, if you really are feeling like you're constantly running the hamster wheel and you're never going to get off the damn hamster wheel, then I would say to you, you really need to evaluate your self-care processes, that maybe you need a couple of days off where you're not doing anything except laying in bed, watching Netflix, or, going to the pool and swimming around for a little while and releasing your energy. Like 2 days where you have no responsibility of any kind other than to feed yourself, right? And maybe feed your pets. And that's about it. And let the kids go with somebody else. Let your partner figure out, their own thing. It's time for you. For those of you who aren't feeling that, I feel the resistance here comes in you not being able to fully embrace and embody the change that's arriving. It's kind of like you want to change the change. You want to identify the change and say, no, I want you to come through in this way or that way or the other way. And I'm going to say to you, there's nothing wrong with that. That is co-creation manifestation. But what I'm feeling here is where the resistance comes in, is it's kind of like already here. It's already manifested. Like it's already in your now. It's not like you can throw it back into the sea and hope that it shifts and changes and comes back out something entirely different. I keep hearing, it's not apples to apples here. It's apples to pizza. You can't compare apples to pizza. An apple will never be a pizza, and a pizza will never be an apple. And I feel like that's kind of the resistance, is you're not recognizing the futility of it. So there's a real energy here of 10, new beginnings based on an already established foundation, seeing that the change is here now. And rather than trying to change the change, say, how can I adapt to the change? What is this change trying to bring to me? I'm really drawn to the jackrabbit because I feel like that's the big issue. You're trying to move through the change really quickly. You don't want to take your time. You want to just kind of blow through it because you're like, oh my God, like I've just had enough of this, right? We had the 10 of swords. It's like, stick a fork in me. I'm done. I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. Again, another 10. I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. And I want to say to you, the jackrabbit, if you bulldoze through it, you're going to come back around again. So I want to say, take your time a little bit in how you are stepping in and how you are approaching this. The change is here. You can't change the change, but you can change how you choose to adapt to the change. Don't bulldoze through it, because you'll just have to turn around and do it again. Take your time, step by step, and trust that it's working for you. It's showing up because it's something that you ultimately need and that you have the resource for. So trust in source to give you what it is that you're needing in that regard. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it from a positive perspective or a negative perspective? Oh, beautiful. We have the Two of Pentacles, denier. Du de denier. Okay. So even though this isn't a snake, I keep seeing a snake. And I know that's not what it's supposed to represent, but there you go. I'm seeing a snake. I read intuitively, so here's what I'm going to say to you. I feel like when we're talking about the support system energy, you're going to have a lot of people who are, I want to say, they're going to see the changes that you're trying to make, and they're going to try and get in there and be a snake in the grass about it. They're going to try and throw a wrench in the works a little bit. And I'm going to say to you, it's up to you at this time to really look at this Two of Pentacles and to say, I don't, thank you, snake, for your service, but I don't think I really need you at this time. I'm going to figure out this balance on my own. I'm going to navigate these waters on my own. While I appreciate your input and your attention to detail, move along. I'm not interested in this. I feel like this is a boundary setting, but it's also like making a choice between a yes and a no. When we're talking about this as a support system, I feel very clearly that this is someone who likes to think that they're supportive, but maybe they're that person that doesn't realize how they come across, that they're actually really pushy and controlling, that they go hard on somebody because they're trying to project their will or their fears onto your situation. And I feel like with this Two of Pentacles coming up and coming through, this is going to be an invitation for you to recognize the snake in the grass, to not get mad at it, to just call it out and say, move along. I don't need your opinion, because your opinion in a couple of bucks gets me a really cheap, probably really bad and old and stale cup of coffee. And I don't want that. I've got this. I can handle this all. I don't need your input. Thank you so much. Moving along. Hopes and fears. So what are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually becoming it? I always love this question. The Hermit. Wow. Okay. Here's what's interesting about this. Cancers, I feel like the fear is that there's a part of you that wants to stay in hermit mode. That you're kind of like, I'd like to just live out the rest of my life without ever having to engage or encounter another person again. I don't want to have to or a new person. I want to be able to just, be in my own little comfort zone. And I feel like the fear in all of this is that making this shift and this change. And like I said, you are stepping more into your own, but that's what's happening through the process of this month of July. So the fear around July is, if I step more into myself, am I going to lose the ground that I've gained in my self-awareness journey, in my boundaries, in my happy place, in what I know to be true and joyful and motivating for me? Because where I'm at right now and what I'm feeling right now is, I don't know how much I want to go out and engage with the rest of the world. And I feel like the hope here, or the how we can sort of, redirect the story or rewrite the story here, is turning it into a hope, is saying, but you've already done the hermit's journey for a while. You're always going to revisit the hermit's journey, because quite frankly, we continue to grow until we die, and then some. So the hermit it never leaves us. It's always within us. It's just a matter of whether or not we're putting that into our stream of consciousness or our focus at this time. And I feel like that's how you can kind of reinvent this, is by saying, I'm not going to become this 100%, and I don't have to give this up in order to be able to come into my own and move into this next journey. I'm not breaking up with the hermit. I am recognizing that the hermit needs a little rest. My deep dive self-awareness journey needs a little bit of a break. I need to actually go out and live life a little bit. I need to engage and interact with other people. That's why you've got so many of the court cards that are coming through. I feel like this month it is about reintegrating yourself with your relationships, with your connections, with people from an observational perspective. You are going to have interactions. You are going to learn a lot from those interactions. But then you're going to, I want to say, sort of observe that and decide how you wish to apply that moving forward. You're not going to lose yourself in hermitness. And I feel like there are going to be two different interactions that you'll come up with this month, where you do engage with new people, not just your people, but new people. And it's refreshing. It's pleasant. It's motivating. And I feel like that's what kind of breaks this spell. That's what breaks the fear around this. And you recognize, oh, okay, I got this. And that was actually fun. I'm recognizing that my frequency has shifted. And as a result, the people that I'm connecting with are a little bit different too. So now I'm not so afraid of that. I'm ready to move into that and to say yes to that particular flow. And finally, we are at our outcome. The outcome of your transformation, if you're staying on course. Who will you be on the other side of this journey? What is the result of embracing the full cycle of death and rebirth? Interesting. We have the Knight of Wands. So you had the Page of Wands, you have the Knight of Wands. I think there was another wand, wasn't there? No, maybe not. No, I was wrong. Maybe not. So Page of Wands, Knight of Wands. Okay. This is going to bring you a little more into your bold space. It's going to bring you a little more into that frequency and energy of believing in yourself, believing in your internalized motivations and how you're choosing to externalize them. Again, I feel like, it's the love-hate thing with the fire, but the Knight coming through says that you did use the Page of Wands energy to your advantage. And now you're elevating into the next level because you're ready and you're understanding that there is structure here. The Knight of Wands, I feel, is so unbelievably passionate and very clear on their direction. Always willing to lend a helping hand. Yes, can be a little, pop-offy. Can be a little, quick to anger at times. But I feel also like in many ways, this is kind of what you need. Not saying that you're going to be those things, saying that this is providing a little bit of the balance. Now that you're stepping into your own, but your own is a new version of you and you're learning all of that. This is going to give you that fuel that you need to be able to go out and enact the visions that are going to be coming. And I'm going to say to you, I feel like this month, it's not so much about the visions that you have as much as it's about you reconnecting with self so that you can be ready for when the visions come through. You're laying the foundation and creating that. And the outcome is going to be that the vision starts to arrive. And when it arrives, you will be ready. But you've got to do that work first. I am rooted to the tree of universal superpowers. I am becoming more psychic because I am coming into my own. I have learned a lot. I have grown a lot. I'm applying boundaries to what is going on. And now I'm opening to my passions in a more direct way, in a way that feels more alive. Wow. All right, Cancers, that is our transformational tarot reading for July of 2025. And for those of you who are new to following me, you may not know this, but I also do private readings. So if you are running into any kind of trouble or you're looking for a little bit of clarity around these transformations that you're going through, I would love to help. Feel free to book a session with me and, let's get right to the heart of it. Let's work it out and work it through so that you can feel so empowered in making this transformation for yourself. We're always in a phase of transformation. That's never going to go away, but we don't always have to do it alone. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and we will see you on the flip side.